Okay, so I'm just going to go over day one lesson plan in this video, just so it's like super clear what everyone should be doing for the day one of this week. The goal of this lesson plan is that I can identify the components of a proper ISC objective and explain the next steps in moving forward in my project. So this document that the students are now going to be working on is this proposal document. Oops, not that one. Sorry, so it's this one. This is the document. This is a sample exemplar that they'll have access to, which is going to be something that they'll look over day two, but this is the document that they're all working on, is this final proposal. Proposal document is a requirement for graduation, so it's really important that we all communicate the same message regarding this document. But for now, for this just first lesson plan, they're just thinking about and they're learning how to write proper objectives for the purpose of the project. So I just did this as a warm-up, have them talk about this quote. We don't rise to the level of our expectations. We fall to the level of our systems. Have them just turn and talk, couple kids share out, whatever. And for me, it's okay, so you guys might have some big expectations or big goals for your projects, but we have to create a specific system and specific goal, a specific way to measure that in order for your projects to be successful. So that's part of what we're going to be doing today, is thinking about your proposal document. And this is the document that's going to go to your companies as well as be housed as part of your graduation process. Have them open up their notes. We haven't done note taking in a while, but have them open up their notes document and to have them create a section called Cycle 3, Justice and Project Development. And you'll go over these notes and have them type them in. So number one, that they need to be creating a minimum of 4 project objectives that they hope that they wish to accomplish with their project. Let them know that there's going to be a part of their proposal that's a project description, which is very general, whereas the project objectives are specific and measurable tasks. And then I think this is always helpful for kids. Basically, I give this definition that basically these objectives are sort of like a check marks on a to-do list to finish their project. Give them these notes. So how do I write my project objectives? One, project objective should be focused on community. Here I give an example. Another project objective should be focused on company and what they specifically want to learn about the company. I give an example. Another project objective. So obviously you're going through this a lot slower because the kids are typing them. They should be typing this in their notes. So you're going through these slides much slower. Another is a project objective that should address how they plan to track their success. And I give a example. I actually give 2 for this one, 2 examples of how they're going to track their success. Okay, so then I put these on the board and have them look at their notes and just kind of have them turn and talk what type of project objectives are these. So for example, this first one is a community objective. Oops, this is a company objective. This is a company objective. This is track my success objective. So the first one's community, 2 and 3 are company, 4 and 5 are track my success. So that gives them an idea of what their project objectives should look like. Then we continue back to notes after they had some time to talk about each of those. Now we're going to give them notes on their personal objectives. Their personal objectives are specific and measurable. They'll also need to write 4 of these. They're related to who they are as learners and thinkers. Basically, it's what they hope to achieve in this process as future leaders, as graduating seniors, sort of what do they want in preparing them for the future. Their personal objectives are focused on a specific skill. It could be a skill that they're already good at that they want to improve, or it could be a skill that they're lacking that they want to practice, but just tell them that they need to write them with a specific goal rooted in measurability. The measurability, I'm actually going to add that to the notes. Measurability here means how will you practice this skill? So for example, you'll see that a non-example is to be more prepared for the world. No, that doesn't mean anything. What does it mean to be prepared for the world? The specific skill is public speaking. Measurability is by taking the lead in a minimum of 3 meetings. So there's a specific what and a specific how. So then have them work in partners. You can print the document I'm about to share with you, or you can put it on Schoology. It's up to you. You're going to have them select a partner to work with on the assignment, read the directions in the document, and rewrite the objectives to meet the requirements as outlined in their notes. I would give them maybe 10, 15 minutes to work on it, and it's this document. So this document is in this folder. If you go into Cycle 3 materials, we're done with empathy mapping. They all turned in their op-eds. So now they're on Cycle 3.2, excuse me. And so if you go into this folder, you'll find this document, ISC Proposal Objectives Practice. So they, like I said, it's really up to you what makes the most sense for your students. You can put it on Schoology as a practice doc, or you can print it. I figured I'd have my students work in partners. But basically for project, it says use your notes and write specific project proposals. So if this is the overall idea, basically they should use their notes, remembering that, okay, so for this project idea, let's just make things up. What would a company-focused objective sound like? What would a community-focused objective sound like? How would measurement of success-focused objective sound like? And they can like practice those here. Oops. There we go. Sorry. And then for personal, use your notes. Again, they just took all these notes, have them rewrite these two. So for example, to be a better student does not go with what we just said. That needs to be specific goal and measurability. So they would practice rewriting to be a better student. They would rewrite to be ready for life after graduation by using their notes in the example that it has to have a specific skill and a specific how. Then you'll kind of close out the day after you've given them time to practice that. Maybe have a couple kids share out, go over it, and then leave yourself about 5 minutes at the end of class to go over these important next steps. So it's really, really important that we tell them all of the same things about this, because this is now a part of their graduation process. Like all of these steps are part of how they complete the project in relationship to graduation. So let them know that this proposal that we just learned about the objectives, we'll learn about the rest of it in the next class. So just let them know the next class we'll learn about the rest of how to write it, and it's due in a week. So tell them it's due Monday in Schoology. It'll be due on Monday. And then a physical copy of their parent and teacher sponsor contract either needs to be given to me. I just keep all of them because it's a part of their graduation. I just figure it's easier if I keep it all. So they can hand turn it into me, or Kate will have a folder in the office and they can give it to her. But that'll be done by Friday, February 10th. I will come by and see you guys in the morning to make sure you understand this piece right here. I'll print out all of these for you and make sure that you guys have them. But it's just a document that we are giving to kids that their parents have to sign, that they understand what the kid's project is. And then they also have to have a teacher sponsor sign saying they agree to be their teacher sponsor. Let them know that this is a hard deadline, in that if they miss it, it's fine. Eventually they have to turn in a proposal because it's part of graduation. It's one of the elements of graduating. They have to turn in a proposal. So if they miss this deadline, they'll have to turn it in eventually. But if they miss this deadline, they're no longer eligible for an outstanding. So no student or group who misses this ISC proposal deadline is eligible for an outstanding, meaning they turn in the document itself, the proposal, into Schoology, and they've turned in the contract into me. And I will be bringing you physically in the morning a copy of the contract. Frequently asked questions you're going to get, and so maybe just go over the slide. So is our proposal based on our social issue? Like, yes, obviously that was sort of the point of exploring social issues for so long, doing your op-ed, completing the op-ed. Oops. Kali. Sorry, guys. And crafting. To begin crafting. Okay. To begin crafting their ISC idea. If it's something entirely different, just let them know like that they need to kind of talk to you about why, what's happening that it's different. Then they'll ask, well, how am I supposed to find a teacher sponsor? You ask them. Say, you ask. Determine a teacher who you have a positive relationship, but that teacher will be committing to the following. And I'll be sending out a mass email to all teachers on Monday morning to let them know that students might be asking, but that they need to know that when they're asking a teacher, that they're a teacher that they have a positive relationship with, a teacher that there's willing to meet with them at least twice between now and May, and a teacher who's going to be willing to grade all of their final work. It's also important that they note this person cannot be one of the ISC teachers. If a student has already asked you to be their sponsor, let them know that you're more than willing to support them in an informal manner. But we can't be sponsors, guys, because there's just other obligations and processes that we do as the teachers as far as evaluation of this work. So it just makes more sense for neutrality and like objectivity that we aren't sponsors, because we're involved in evaluating the process in a different way. So we cannot be ISC sponsors, but you can tell a kid you're more than willing to support them, have meetings with them in any way, but that you can't be their official teacher sponsor. So like I said, this process is a part of their like graduation, having a proposal, submitting it in this format, getting this contract done. So if you have any questions, please reach out to me, because it's really important that we communicate to kids all the same message. And as far as the lesson plan goes, I'm sorry that this feels rushed. I was hoping we would meet next week, but it was kind of crazy. But this is just the day one lesson plan that they're focusing on how to write a proper objective for their proposal. So this is the goal, that they're just knowing how to write an objective, as well as that they know they have to get a teacher sponsor, and they're practicing that, taking the notes, and then actually doing the practice document, which is this one that I showed you here. Please email me if you have any questions.